Hi guys, welcome back to the Sanctuary Garden. I am Alexis, the Sanctuary Gardener. So happy to have you here. This garden video is going to look a little different than usual because my friend Esmeralda from FoxRed Homestead is giving me a tour of her garden, and I brought you guys along with. And the coolest part is, she lives right across the street. Let's go.
Hi guys, my name's Esmeralda. Welcome to FoxRed Homestead. This is my garden here at home, my little corner of the world. So hopefully you enjoy this little tour today. Come on in. So one of my favorite spots in the garden is really always the peppers, where I keep most of my peppers. This year I didn't do as many as I do usually, just because I had a rough start with my seedlings. But these are the cherry peppers, and they're just bursting. We have a bunch of shishitos over here. These are very prolific. I really love these. Sauteed, just with a little bit of olive oil. Get them a little charred and blistered. They are just, oh man, they're delicious. A bunch of basil here. The tomatoes are also in here, a few of them. And then I have shallots that I still need to, kind of thin out a little bit and give them a little bit more space. And then this is a sweet cherry, I believe.
And zinnias.
Zinnias, of course. I always like to incorporate pollinator flowers into my beds. That helps bring in some beneficial insects into the garden, like the marigolds, which are here and in various areas of the garden. Those other insects do not like them. So what smells in the marigold are the leaves, and that's what they don't like. So you can still use the flowers in vases and stuff, just take the leaves off, and then it's fine. And then if we go around here.
Is this holy basil?
This is African blue basil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
The African blue basil I highly recommend because it just attracts every freaking bee in town. I kid you not. It's so awesome as a pollinator. You can use it as an edible, but it's not typically used.
I was going to ask, or tea.
Yeah, you can still use it, but it's mostly used as a pollinator, at least here.
Yeah.
And this year I started growing some sunflowers, which I don't typically do because I'm not real big on sunflowers. But I saw some seeds and I figured, what the hell. And I just transplanted some peppers that were here. They were getting a little too shaded with this massive sunflower. So I transplanted them into another bed where they can get some more light. So hopefully they'll start to pick up in their growth. San Marzano, which is probably one of my favorite tomatoes. We like to do a lot of pasta sauces, and that seems to be one of the good ones.
Wow.
I'm going to be harvesting probably this one, even though it's not completely ripe. I don't want birds or squirrels to get to it. Typically they'll do that not so much to eat the fruit, but because they're thirsty and they want the juice out of it.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
are these particularly juicy? Or more than another tomato, or?
Well, I think they if they're thirsty enough, they're gonna.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're gonna get the juice from that tomato, and then you're left with a holy tomato.
Yeah. Right.
And so that sucks, especially because it's the first one. You're really excited about the first one.
Totally.
And then it disappears from one day to the next. So I'm gonna be harvesting that one just to make sure that it doesn't get eaten.
Do you ever give holy tomatoes to your chickens?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So they get all of
yes, they get actually I'll show you in a second. I have a couple of Chinese cabbages that have been decimated by
I bet
the earwigs.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, so
you're gonna give them that?
Yeah, I'll chop the whole thing off. It's be loaded with earwigs, and then they'll just
and they eat the earwigs too, so it's like a dessert treat.
And this is a new one for me this year. This is sun sugar tomato.
Yeah.
And it's super sweet, and it's doing
pretty
really well.
Yeah, pretty
doing
prolific.
really well. The smaller cherries on the arches, it just looks nice when it finally gets to come over the top and around, and when they pop with color when they're ripening, it just looks really pretty to me. So I like to do that. This is a Chinese cabbage here, and
wow, it's like lace.
Yep, early in the season, they just started. They went to town and I didn't treat it as early as I should have. So the outer leaves are obviously pretty done with, but the head I think is still going to be okay because I did treat it in time. So
Oh yeah, it looks good down there.
It looks good, fine. There hasn't been any issues there, but there was a couple other ones that I had to get rid of.
Yeah.
And the chickens loved it. So
Yeah, there you
it's
go.
okay.
Never wasted.
Yeah, it wasn't a waste. Calendula is also another really good pollinator flower. And this year I'm going to try to harvest the flowers to dry them for tea. Maybe make some sort of like salve or
oil,
yeah,
infuse
something.
something.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'll have time for it, but we'll see. Remember when this started?
Yeah.
Okay, so early late winter, early spring started to come up. I had no idea what the hell it was. It obviously did not have any blooms on it at the time, but it was pretty and it was in the corner. I'm like, okay, that's kind of odd. Maybe I planted it there. I did not remember. And then it started to get the flowers, and I used an app to identify it. And turns out it is a Callaway, I think Marguerite chamomile.
Wow. I was gonna say the head looks almost like a chamomile head.
Yeah.
Does it taste the same? Could you use this for tea?
Yes, you could use it for tea.
Because it's so big, you could get a lot of tea out of this.
Yeah, so I had to cut it back a little bit because it was just shading everything back. So these peppers are a little behind. I'm hoping they pick up now that they're getting more light. But yeah, how funny is that? I didn't even remember putting it there. So
is it something you'd plant again?
Or
does it come back?
It'll come back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it'll come back. Kohlrabi here, this one needs to be harvested, so I'll harvest this one soon. This is a little smaller one. I really like this, like in a slaw kohlrabi with apple, some vinaigrette dressing. Really, really good. Just really fresh. It tastes good. Surprisingly, it tastes really good. We're not used to eating these things.
Right. What does it taste like?
It tastes like it's a very, very mild mixture of like I guess of like a beet or
a root crop, like something fun.
But it's very mild. I just cut it up real thin or just in a grater with apples. It's really good. I like it.
Sounds really
I would recommend it.
Yeah.
Look at this baby. Baby. Beautiful. Those carrots.
And do you have an easy time growing carrots in the summer?
Yeah, not bad. I think it's been 2 or 3 years that I've been growing carrots. The first year was not good. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And then the second and third year, I think it's gotten a little bit better. I'm probably going to pull these out soon, just to see what's going on. Maybe I'll try one of these. So the trick to pulling these out is you push it in first, and then you pull it out, and then it's way easier. See, look at this guy.
You got legs?
Yeah, it's got legs. So it's not great, but
it looks good to me. I still can't get carrots to germinate. Good, yeah.
It's down. Okay.
Woohoo! Wow.
Look at this guy. So one of the things that you really have to remember to do is thin out your carrots, because then you end up with this weird stuff, which I'm okay with. Whatever, they're just for me, and my family, and they're not going to jewel, they don't have to be pretty, they just have to taste good. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. We got some really nice onions. They're starting to bulb up a little bit. These got going really late. Everything seemed to be pretty late this year. We were cold for longer than usual, and then it was really dry. So it kind of slowed everything down, at least for me. But whatever, it is what it is, and just keep going and do what you can do. Here's another good one. Let me try and pull this one out. Oh, this one's a little curly guy. Yeah, so I'm still learning. It was let's see. The plans for the garden started fall of 2019, which is when we got the house.
Wow.
I think in August. So I kind of had a plan of what I wanted to do, which was initially was just a 2 4x8 beds. We started that early, spring of 2020. So March, I think, 2020, which was right before the whole shit went down with
March.
COVID.
Yep.
And then I had a ton of time that summer. It just worked out. So yeah, and then after that year, that's when I started to grow everything from seed. I started learning more about that and just reading up, following Instagram, gardeners and just learning from as much as I could learn. And here we are.
Is this your first garden?
Yes, technically it is my first garden. My mom always had a garden, some sort of beans, tomatoes, peppers, squash, pumpkins. She can grow anything. I swear to God, she can grow anything. And she always had like houseplants, She always had something to take care of, and I learned a lot from her. We'd go foraging in the forest when we were kids. For us at the time, it was super embarrassing. Like, who the hell wants to do that?
Yeah.
She'd pull over at the side of the road, like in a cornfield, and we would pick what we call weeds, like purslane and other things like what we call in Spanish quelites, which is like lamb's quarters. I think that's correct. I forget which is which, but so she'd take us out to these cornfields, like on the edge of the cornfields with, traffic going by. And she's like, here, these are the ones you got to pick. And so we'd be out there picking this stuff and just so embarrassing. So embarrassing. I hated it. But now looking back, it was so great. Like,
Yeah.
I have great memories of that and just learning. It's surprising how much you learn without even really knowing
Right.
you're learning it.
Yeah.
Because I still remember a lot of what she told me. Even just with birds, like we'd go into the forest and she'd be, looking for birds and that's so and so, and it's like, okay, and we were kids, we were just following my mom, and so it was cool. So yeah, she started me with the gardening. So this is technically my first garden. After the first or second year, we added 3 more beds, 4x8 beds. We'll go through those too. And then I added a couple other just ones directly in the ground they're not raised. And we'll see how those go. Kale. This is a dinosaur kale. Not only does it look really cool, but it's really tasty in salads and smoothies. I make this cherry tomato salad with Parmesan cheese. What else do I put in there? I forget the dressing that I use. Something light. But everybody loves it. Oh, I put chickpeas in there too, which is really good. And then I freeze a lot of it, and then I try to use it throughout the year for smoothies and stuff. And soup. Seth makes really good soup, so we put it in that too. All right, so here are the other 2 beds that we added last spring along with that third one. Let's go over this. This is actually a Mexican sunflower. It's called Red Torch. I grew this one from seed, and it's struggling right now because I transplanted it from where I originally planted it, which is over on the other end. It was just shading everything, so it had already started to bloom when I decided to move it. So it's kind of struggling a little bit. You can see some of the leaves kind of dying off here, but it's still going. So and it looks good.
Yeah, it does.
But it has like flowers at each,
Wow.
each one has a little flower, so it should look really good in the next couple of weeks. It should be all bloomed out. Borage is also a really good one to have in your garden. It gets really big, so you got to be careful with this. The first time I grew this was last year. I had 1 plant, and it took over half of the bed. It was insane. And then it self-seeded. So this year I had, I think think I just pulled out like 5 or 6 plants yesterday out of this bed.
Wow.
So I'm probably gonna add some beets and radishes to this bed in the next couple of days. More African blue basil, which I love. Another few pepper plants. Of course, our marigolds and our zinnias. Oh, I don't remember what this one is called.
That's really pretty.
I don't remember what this one is called. And then another San Marzano, which I love. These look so good.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they look pretty awesome. These marigolds I grew from seed, and they are a massive, like they grow to, I mean, obviously you can see they're really damn tall. And I forgot, the first year I grew them from seed, I forgot how big they grew, because you start the seeds in, you know, February or March, you know. So by the time it starts getting going out here, you've already put it in the bed. You know, it's May or June, and you're like, oh shit, this is huge.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? So they were crazy. I was a little bit more careful with it this year. But these are really cool. I forget the name of it, but they're awesome. And then a couple more pepper plants. We make hot sauces, so we like to grow a bunch of different varieties of peppers. Over here we have some beets, which are just about ready to. This one is massive. I'll probably get this one out. This one's past its prime, so I should have harvested this one a while ago.
And how do you know when it's ready? Its size?
Really, you can harvest. You don't really. So this is my thing with growing vegetables and having your own garden. You don't have to wait for a certain size to harvest it. You harvest it when you're ready to use it, when it's right for you. If you want a smaller beet, because it's easier for you to use in whatever it is you're going to use it for, then harvest it. You know, that's my thing. What I don't like to do, what I try not to do is harvest everything at once, because then you have to do something with it. You know, it's easier with things like garlic, which I just harvested a couple weeks ago. To harvest all at once, because you gotta, you know, wait for it to dry and cure and stuff. But for things like carrots and beets and peppers and whatever the hell else you're growing, harvest it when you're ready to use it. Is my thing. The one thing that I will say about peppers is the more you harvest, the faster it's going to produce more peppers, because it's not using that energy on those peppers that are already on the plant. It's going to focus it on new ones. So that's my thing with that. I'm going to leave this right there. The garden was already operating. The previous owners pretty much farmed this entire area. They did not use raised beds. From what I know, they just used, they garden like rows. You know, this soil was just perfect. It was very well taken care of. There was a lot that still here that was already producing when I moved in.
Wow.
Like the rhubarb here. There's a ton of mint. There's a lovage here that's already starting to seed. The giant patch of raspberries right over here. I think it was last year I harvested 45 pounds of raspberries.
Wow.
45 pounds.
Wow.
It's insane. This year I lost a few days because we were out of town. But we harvest, I'm out here every single day. June, July, harvesting raspberries. We get an average of probably 3 to 4 pounds a day.
Wow. Of
the raspberries, which is also make jams. I infuse vodka with it, which we'll try later today.
Ooh.
Desserts, whatever I can make with them, I freeze them.
You figure it out, find something new.
It's raspberry season. Everything's raspberries. Okay, so this is one of the tomato trellises that I have. I originally started this with, I think, 13 tomatoes last year, 13 tomato plants on this system here. And I downsized it this year just because it's a lot. It's a lot. And right now it has some asparagus that's going to seed. you kind of have to do that with asparagus so to help help it regenerate itself for next year. But there's onions in here as well. And it's starting to get going. These tomatoes here I grew from seed. These are one of the few that actually made it. I still don't know what the hell happened with my seeds, but whatever. I added these planters just to kind of add some, you know, whatever. And this year I'm trying turmeric and ginger.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so I left this here because it tells me what it is. Yeah, yellow turmeric. So I don't forget. Hopefully this doesn't blow away. Yellow turmeric, and then I have some other stuff over there too. And then in this one here, I have Tomatillos. I have 3 tomatillo plants. 1, 2, 3. This one's a different variety. It's like a, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a larger yellowish tomatillo, which I'm excited about. You do need more than 1 tomatillo plant in order for them to pollinate each other. That's why we have tomatillos. And then I have, this is my first year growing green beans. Surprisingly, I have not done that before, but there's a ton here that I need to harvest. I've already harvested a bunch. And yeah, so these
Is this bush?
Yeah, this is a bush bean.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. There's I have 3 of these in here, and this one's doing really well. So yeah, they're good. You just cut them up, eat them fresh, or saute them, or whatever.
Hello, my name's Seth. I'm Esmeralda's husband, and I raise the chickens. Come on. Here's our lovely coop. My dad built the coop that you see here, and then we added the run here. Little roof here to keep it dry underneath. So they look a little shy right now, but I've got some treats here. These are soldier fly larvae.
Wow.
And they're really a really fascinating creature, worth a look, because they consume just about anything. Very, very, you know, good for the climate and whatnot. Very, very good source of protein. Very good. This is Blue, just because she's a blue Americana. Her breed is a blue Americana. So we got these guys a little over a year ago from Meyer Hatchery, and believe it or not, we got them after they were a day old. They ship them in the mail as chicks, which is hilarious. They're well kept. There's a little heat pack and such. So we raised them as chicks and then brought them outside after whatever it was, 8 weeks or so, and they're thriving. We don't do much in the winter. Everybody always asks that. They puff out, they get pretty huge, so they can take care of themselves in the cold weather. We just need to make sure there's you know, not frozen water for them. But they've been great. Anywhere between 2 to 4 eggs a day, which has been awesome.
Yeah, especially with just 3.
Yeah, 4 actually at one time.
Oh, okay.
Follow me to the nesting boxes. One's in here because she's kind of broody.
Okay.
If you're not familiar, broody is when they try to hatch an egg, but they're all hens. There's no roosters here, so they're not going to hatch.
Sweet. Wow, this is beautiful.
This is the most dominant one.
Oh. Oh, so sweet.
This is the Easter egger.
Very cool. What color does she lay?
They are green.
Green. Very cool. There she comes.
Hey, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about the irrigation that we installed recently. Esmeralda spends a lot of time out here watering, so we wanted to give her a hand. And what she wanted is this drip tape irrigation here, which you can see here. You can see the tiny holes. And when we have this on, you know, water just kind of trickles out. So we have 4 of those running in this bed. And what we've done, just to take a step back, is we've run PVC back to a garden hose a spigot, so it's running underground up to here. And then we actually installed Wi-Fi controlled.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Actually, me neither, because I didn't know that they would do this, that they could do this battery powered.
Wow.
So it's battery powered here, Bluetooth to a receiver inside, and then Wi-Fi. So in any case, Wi-Fi controlled valve comes up here, little hose bib, a backflow preventer, and then a pressure reducer.
Did you have to learn all this to do this? Did you know anything about this before?
I didn't, and luckily there was a YouTube video describing how to do that.
There you go. And it worked. It was successful.
Yeah, it works. It's been come a little closer. We'll turn it on.
How long would you say you leave this on when you turn it on? Does it need to go for a couple hours?
Yeah,
30
a couple
minutes?
hours.
Okay.
Because it's a slow drip.
Right. So cool. Oh, cool. All the way down.
And then with the drip irrigation, we ran it underground through every bed here, and then we even teed it off to the other beds you saw earlier. So it's very helpful.
Very cool.
And there you have it, FoxRed Homestead. Thank you for coming.